The four paths of yoga. Vedanta tells us that there are five causes of suffering: not knowing who we are, attachment, clinging to things that are impermanent and having expectations, aversion, trying to avoid things that are not real, identifying with the ego and creating separate realities, and the fear of death. Fortunately, Vedanta also gives us the solutions to overcome them. It tells us that by correcting the first cause and remembering who we are, all others will cease to concern us. Yoga, the union of body, mind, soul, and the spirit, is rediscovering who we are and returning to a life of joy, bliss, and freedom. Vedanta recognizing that we each have different personalities and preferences, offers us four paths of yoga or sets or spiritual practices to help us reach this goal. In life, we can act, we can think, we can feel, or we can do nothing. To act is karma yoga, to think is Gyana Yoga, and to feel love is Bhakti Yoga, and to do all nothing completely in samadhi, the final step of Raja Yoga and the goal of all yoga. Let's look at each of the paths of yoga and see how we can incorporate them into our lives. Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti is the yoga of devotion, ultimately to the divine, but it can initially be a guru, your family, a friend, or anything that creates strong emotional ties. In today's world, with so much chaos and confusion, it is said that bhakti is the easiest of the paths. It can be practiced by anyone regardless of mental or physical abilities and does not involve extensive yogic practices. Bhakti is the path of love which removes jealousy, hatred, lust, anger, egoism, pride, and arrogance. It replaces those feelings with the feelings of joy, divine ecstasy, bliss, peace, and wisdom. The first line of Fleetwood Mac's song says, "Drowning in a sea of love where everyone would love to drown." This is a bhakti, drowning in love. Vedanta says there is a fine thread made of pure love which connects your heart with the divine. This thread is the essence of bhakti. It's been lying dormant in your heart since the beginning of creation, hidden by layers of ignorance and suffering. However, no matter what you do or where you go, this thread, our divine connection, can never be broken. This is what creates the deep yearning of your soul for joy and bliss. To be in love with someone or something creates separation. Bhakti is to be loved, to be intoxicated with the divine love. It is the unity of being in love with love itself. Vedanta says, put the emphasis where it belongs, on the divine self within each person we encounter. Karma Yoga. Karma means action, and Karma Yoga is performing action without attachment to the outcome. It is a path of selfless service or seva. You cease to identify with the ego and all action is seen as an offering to the divine. The heart is purified so egoism, hatred, jealousy, selfishness and similar negative qualities vanish, creating space for humility, pure love, sympathy, tolerance and compassion. Karma Yoga is doing the right thing, the process of achieving perfection in action. It means following one's dharma, true purpose, and accepting whatever comes without any expectation of payment, thanks, or recognition. Gyana Yoga is the path of knowledge, or more correctly, wisdom. It means to enlightenment through the process of reason, particularly the process of discrimination between what is real and what is not real, what is true and what is untrue. Through study and self-inquiry, it is said to be the most difficult path because it uses the mind and the intellect to go beyond themselves to finally realize who are one with the divine, or you are one with the divine. The Upanishads call it the razor's edge, where the ego is always trying to knock us off. It requires great strength of character, willpower and intellect. When asked a question, Raman Maharshi, a great Indian saint and Jnana yogi, would often reply, First, ask yourself who is asking the question. Gyana Yoga is the study of the ancient texts and teachings of the great masters, but more importantly, it's the study of one's own self. Finally, Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga means the royal path. Just as a king maintains control over his kingdom, you must maintain control over your own kingdom, the vast territory of your mind. There is a saying, the kingdom of God is his own self, or the kingdom of God lies in his own self. It's the path of meditation, mantras, and techniques. The basic theme of Raja Yoga is that your perception of the divine self is obscured by disturbance of the mind. If the body and the mind can be made still and pure, the self will instantaneously shine forth. The Raja Yoga is the path most favored by Westerners because it can be practiced by almost everyone and requiring no belief or particular faith. Raja Yoga says to believe only what you find out for yourself through direct experience. The four paths. Even though these four paths appear different, there is really only one yoga, one union. We may be drawn to one path more than the others, but they complement each other. As the saying goes, all road leads to Rome. So all paths leads to your enlightenment. The paths are like four different strands woven together to form the same rope, each one strengthened by the others. Choose whichever aspects of each path resonates with you. Begin to incorporate them in your life. Look for joy in your daily practice and let it guide you.